Your voice is lying to you right now. Not about what you're saying, but maybe about how you're feeling. And once I show you what it's actually telling you, you may never hear yourself the same way again. Every creative discipline teaches you to pay attention differently. Painters learn to see light that most people just walk right past. Musicians learn to hear the space between notes, the silence that gives music its meaning. Actors learn to feel truth in a single moment and then make a room full of strangers feel that as well. These are not just skills, they're ways of paying attention on a deeper level. Today, I want to show you something similar. I want to show you not how to see differently or hear differently, but I want you to notice what's happening inside of you live in real time to use that information creatively. Because there's a system inside of you that is always active. It's always responding to the environment around you. And it's directly shaping what is available to you as a creative person. And most people never learn to pay attention to it. Creativity does not live exclusively in your head. It lives in your body as a whole. And specifically, it lives in the relationship between three things: the breath, the movement, and the voice. And when those components all work together, creativity becomes more available to you. When stress or worry or fear, threats, anxiety, etc. affect one of those, the system then starts to go offline. And think about what actually happens when pressure starts to hit. The breath shortens, it rises up into the chest, the muscles tense across the back and shoulders and neck, the body starts to get stiff and sluggish. The voice then starts to send signals as to exactly what is happening. The shakiness before you walk on stage is not a confidence problem. The tightness you get in your throat before an audition is not weakness. The freezing up under pressure is not failing. It is your breath, movement, and voice responding to what your system perceives as a threat. You are not broken. You are responding as your body was created to do. And the moment you understand that, everything starts to change. Neuroscience might say that when the body goes into a stress response, the brain will shift away from imagination, from problem solving, from creative thinking. When the nervous system believes that you're under a threat, the brain is going to prioritize survival over learning, which makes it harder to absorb information, to form new memories, and to think creatively. Getting into a creative flow is not necessarily a mindset shift. It's a physical one. Breath first, movement second, then voice, in that order every time. If I were to show an example where I were to be sitting feet flat on the floor, upright and aligned, nice and relaxed, and I were to say out loud to you, "I am here today." Let's notice what's happening. The breath is moving freely, the body is relaxed, and the sound just comes out in a very natural way. In a second example, if I were to do the exact same thing, except I tense the shoulders maybe halfway up, squeeze a little bit, and then say again, "I am here today," and then relax, what do we notice about the voice? What do we notice about the sound and the movement? In a third example, same thing. I'm going to do very, very tight shoulders, higher stretch, everything strained. "I am here today." And notice what happens. This is not a voice problem. This is a body issue. Breath is held, the movement is gone. Sound is getting squeezed through a locked system. And if you notice, there's a difference in sound and voice quality between all three of these states. 3 different states, 3 different voice qualities. And that's the difference between a system that is open and one that is closed off. Your body does that automatically every time some kind of threat shows up. Before an audition, before you walk on a stage, before a difficult conversation, maybe before a job interview. Now, I'm going to show you a technique to help open the nervous system back up again. Think about your phone for a minute. if you have 15 apps running on your phone in the background that just started up on their own inadvertently, what happens? Well, the battery drains faster. The phone itself starts to slow down. If you try to make a call, sometimes it'll get choppy and disconnect. The phone starts to get sluggish. The phone is not broken. It's just overwhelmed at capacity at that moment. So the nervous system works very, very similarly. Stress or worry or anxiety, something doesn't just announce itself. It just pops up in the background and starts consuming your resources that your body, your learning, and your creativity all need. What we want to do is to swipe away a bunch of these apps, and we want to open some new apps that we install that actually help you, ones that we decide to run. And by doing this, we start to get our resources back. One of the techniques I teach is called the foundational reset, and this is a variation of that. And it works on all three parts at one time: the breath, the movement, and the voice. As you are seated as you're seated, feet flat on the floor, sitting just upright and aligned and relaxed. We start with a low diaphragmatic breath into the belly. We take a breath in, hold for 4, and slowly release for a count of 4. That's the breath. For the movement part, as we did before, we squeeze the shoulders all the way up, squeeze really tight for a count of 4, then we release down over a count of 4, slowly and gradually. That's the movement. Third part is the voice. In this one, we do a simple hum, something called the descending hum. We're not singing, we just want a sound to come out of us, and we want to drop the pitch downward as low and as comfortable as we can go. It sounds like this. If we combine all three of these at the same time, low breath, shoulder squeezed, descending hum, and we release in a 4 count simultaneously. And we let the body relax down and loosen up. We notice something very interesting happen the more that you do this. Steady, controlled breathing, breath, signals to the body that danger has passed. Progressive relaxation in the muscles in the shoulder example signal to the body what a calming feeling sensation feels like as we're relaxing. The hum is going to create vibrations in the face, neck, chest, this whole frontal area. That vibration is not just a sound. It's a signal that the nervous system interprets as safety. When your body is breathing under control that you set, when it's moving muscles on purpose as you're doing, and when sound is moving freely under your control, the brain is going to register a completely different message. And that message is, I'm safe. We're okay. Everything's all right. So as you do this, the breath becomes slower, shoulders drop a little bit, the tightness in the body eases. That is the nervous system recalibrating. That's the system opening back up again. And when the system opens back up, so does your creativity and your ability to learn. I want to clarify something because people sometimes get this idea wrong. The goal is not to eliminate intensity. Some of the greatest creative work in history came from a place of anger, rage, and heartbreak and urgency. I am not telling you to calm down. What I'm telling you is this. There's a difference between creative activation and being overtaken. And your body, specifically the voice, will tell you which state you're in, as we demonstrated earlier. When you're in creative activation, the breath is moving, the body has some freedom, energy is high, system is open, you're like riding a wave as though you're surfing. But when the overtaken state takes over, it becomes different. The breathing comes irregular, the things tighten up, the body, the neck, everything. The wave's not carrying it anymore. Now you're underwater. When that particular state becomes a habit, and it fires up every time you sit down to write or draw or compose or do something, This could be what you call creative block, mental block, writer's block. The artists who develop a real mastery of this aren't the ones who never ever get overtaken. They're the ones who figure it out and notice it quickly, and then know how to pull themselves back quickly. Breath first, then movement, then voice, every single time. Use it in your warm-ups. Use it when you get stuck. Use it when work starts to feel heavy. And use it as a tool, because the more tools that you have in your toolbox, the bigger the creative projects you then get to take on. So painters learn to see light. Musicians learn to hear space. Actors learn to reveal truth. What you're learning is how to recognize what's happening inside you and use it to your advantage. Doing this strengthens creativity. Doing this strengthens learning. It strengthens every part of your life. At the beginning, I told you that your voice is lying to you. Well, that's not quite true. It wasn't lying so much as it was speaking a language you haven't fully learned yet. Breath, movement, and voice. That's the language. They've been speaking to you, those three, ever since your very first breath. And today, we simply took some time to learn how to listen and how to translate it. And that's not just a technique. That's self-knowledge. And self-knowledge is where every creative life begins. Thank you for playing along, and thank you for listening.